You know, COVID has taught me a lot of things. And one of the things I've learned is that disruption is going to be part of our norm. Certain things are happening, like cargo ships getting stuck in canals, imports and exports are having issues. Farmers are having issues getting their produce out, their crops out. Just a lot of things that are being disrupted. One thing that this has inspired me to do by hearing all these things that are going on, because they're behind on production or warehouses are overstocked but they can't get it shipped out, it's just got me thinking, I better get prepared. Prepared for what? To do what I can to stock up on some of the things that I'm gonna need and to start learning to make homemade foods instead of relying on the convenience foods that we have. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a really simple and easy, basic recipe for bread. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, welcome back. So my name is Tammy, for those of you who don't know me. Today we're in the kitchen and we're going to bake just a basic, simple bread recipe. So baking bread can be a little intimidating, and I know it was for me, so I can understand if it would be for you as well. So, but this recipe is going to be just really, really simple, and anybody can do this. So that should give you comfort. Now, even though it's a little intimidating, it is getting a lot more popular nowadays because a lot more people are really starting to look at their food and what's inside their food and preservatives and things like that. So I find that when we are baking whatever it is that we're making, we can control the certain parts of the ingredients like sugars and salts and things like that. But when it comes to bread, we do have to follow the recipe as it is. Otherwise, it won't really work out. It's like baking a cake and leaving out leaving out the sugar. Well, who's going to want a cake without sugar? But anyway, so the same goes with bread. It'd be like if we left out the yeast. Well, that bread is not going to rise. It's just going to be a stone. So we don't want that. So today, like I said, it's going to be a really easy, basic recipe. When I was mentioning earlier about stocking up, when it comes to the basic recipe of this bread, and if you wanted to stock up, say, 3 months or 6 months or even a year's worth, take the recipe, and because this recipe here is going to give you 2 loaves, so depending on how much bread that you would eat in a week, you would take those increments and multiply it by the amount of bread that you want to use, or that you want to be able to have. We are about more like, well, not me, because I'm not eating bread, but this is for my family. So they go about almost 4 loaves of bread a week, unfortunately, if not more. So I'm going to need a lot of flour and a lot of yeast and a lot of salt and sugar and oil. So anyway, let's just get to it. I just want you to know that when you are stocking up for something like bread, just look at the recipe, see how many loaves of bread that you're going to need and that you would eat on a weekly basis, and then go from there, okay? So also, I wanted to make note too, is what I've been doing lately is when I've been canning something, I've been kind of watching how much it gets used. If I can keep that stocked up, I don't have to go to the grocery store. So the less time that and the less amount of trips to town for me, because I'm out in the country, it takes me 40 minutes to get into town. So the less amount of trips that I have to make to go into town and visit a grocery store is my ultimate goal. So I'm going to be challenging myself not to see the grocery store for a month and just see how I can do that. Now, the only thing that, yes, I'm going to probably need throughout the month is dairy products, so milk and coffee cream, things like that. But other than that, I don't want to have to go inside the grocery store and go shopping. Yeah, so anyway, I just thought it's just going to be a personal challenge for me. You can try it for yourself too. You know, see if you can make enough bread that you don't even have to buy the store made bread. Who knows? Anyway, but have fun with it. Okay, so we're going to do, like I said, an easy basic recipe. So I'm going to put the recipe down below in the description. But it's really easy. It's anywhere from 5 to 6 cups of flour. So this is to make 2 loaves. I've got the recipe here in front of me. 2 tablespoons of yeast. So also there's 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of oil, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and 2.5 cups of water. And we're going to bake this at 375 for 35-40 minutes. And yeah, so let's get started. So as you can see, I've already got the ingredients measured out. Okay, so this is the yeast, this is the sugar, the oil, and the salt, and we have the flour right here. So the yeast that I'm using is the instant dry yeast. Now you can activate this, which is usually what I do, but according to this recipe, you don't have to do that. So that's going to be a little different for me, because normally I re-wet it to get it activated, and this recipe says no, you don't have to. Okay, let's get started. So this is all-purpose white flour. I didn't sift it or anything, you don't have to do that, but I do like to kind of break it up with my whisk just in case there's any clumps. Okay, now this says go ahead with sprinkling on top your yeast. So that's what I'm going to do. This is 2 tablespoons of yeast. Next, we're going to do the sugar. Sprinkle the sugar on top. And now we're going to mix that together. Now you can go ahead and use your hands. I'm normally one to use my hands, but for the video, I'm going to try and keep it as professional looking as possible. But I will end up getting my hands in here in a minute. Now you can also do this recipe in a stand mixer if you have a stand mixer, which I do, but I'm just kind of basing this as if nobody does have a stand mixer and that they're making it all from scratch and by hand. So notice I have not added the salt or the oil yet, or even the water. Okay. That's nicely mixed in. I knew I had to put my hand in there just to feel it. Okay. Now, next we're going to put in the salt. Just sprinkle it on top. With bread, you can use any salt. This is the sea salt I'm using. Okay, and next I'm going to go ahead with the oil. That in, and that was that was 3 tablespoons of oil. So this is 2 cups, but it calls for 2.5 cups of water. It is warm to the touch, just not hot, because if it's too hot, it'll kill your yeast. So this is 2 cups. I do have a little bit of flour put off to the side just in case I need a little bit more, as well as to kind of flour my surface where I'm going to be mixing and kneading this bread. There we go. Okay, so another 1/2 cup of water. I'm going to go right in there and dig in. Okay, so I'm going to mix it like so. Just to get the ingredients all nicely incorporated. There we go, we're starting to dry up a little bit. Okay, now we're going to really kind of just squeeze it all together. Now it's going to be sticky and it's going to stick to your hands, but that's what makes it fun. And you're going to mix this till it gets to a bit of, like forming a bit of a ball before you start removing it from the bowl and putting it on your floured surface to knead. And really it's just pulling it in and pressing down. Pulling in and press it down in order to get the shape of a ball. Now I do feel like I might have to use a tiny bit more water, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe not, okay. Because when you knead this, you're going to want this nice and smooth. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. We're going to flour my surface here. And now we're going to start kneading. Now kneading has to be about 8 minutes or so of constantly kneading. And all it is you're just kind of bringing it in towards you. I'm making a ball first, and this is what's going to get the gluten going as well in your bread. So how you're kneading is you're bringing it in towards you and then press it away from you to kind of stretch it out. Just like that. And this really mixes all the ingredients together. But not only that, it's going to activate the yeast and the gluten. So make sure you're pulling away from you. Bring it back, press it down, do it again, pull away from you. So I'll get this kneaded and put in back into the bowl, and I'll be right back. Okay, that was a full 8 minutes of kneading. Now she's nice and smooth all the way around. Now I'm going to spray this pan just to kind of grease it up a bit. I'm going to put the ball in there just like that, and we're going to cover this with plastic. And then I'm going to put it in the oven with the light on. Because it makes the perfect atmosphere for your bread to rise. So we're going to put this in the oven like I just said, and then it's going to probably be about an hour and a half to double in size. Once it gets to double in size, we'll bring you right back. Okay, the timer's going to go off here, so we'll take it out. Oh, that looks good. So do you remember the size that it was when it went in? This is probably a little bit more than doubled, but that's okay. That's how you know it's going to work out just fine. Okay, so bring it down here. Now there's going to be 2 rises. 2 rises. I've got the pans ready, so I've sprayed them already with some Pam. So these guys are ready. But I'm going to punch this down, and we're going to kind of bring it in towards the middle. And then I'm going to put some flour on the counter, and we're going to shape these into loaves to put them inside. You don't have to do much shaping, so we'll show you how to do that. Okay, so let's take a punch there, start bringing it in towards you like so. Okay, and now I'm going to plop that out like that. And there we go. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this ball in half, right down the middle. Okay, perfect. Just set this one off to the side. And I kind of just put it already in a rectangular shape because it's going to rise inside the pan. I just kind of dust my pan a little bit. But anyway, it's going to take the shape of the pan here. But I don't necessarily break it up too much because it's been degassed, as they say. But anyway, you can press down on it like this just to keep it in that shape. Okay, see if there's any bubbles. If not, then all I do is I just kind of bring it back up again to the length of the pan, just like that. We're going to pick it up and we're going to put it inside. Okay, and I just kind of shape it all around. I made that one just a little bit too long, but that's okay. There you go. There's one. Okay. There we go. Now some people will kind of shape it differently. I'm not one of those professionals. You don't need to, you know, unless you're one of those perfectionists, which I am not. There you go. So you've got these two. So now you're going to let these rise again till it reaches just at the rim of your pan, which is probably going to be half an hour to an hour, depending depends on the temperature of your kitchen and things like that. So once we do that, then we're going to be able to put it into the oven and bake it, and we're going to have fresh bread. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay guys, it's been 25 minutes in my oven, rising for the second time. This is where I'm going to stop it. So just as it's coming up to that rim there, because as soon as the heat gets to it, it's going to rise even a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the temperature for 375, and we'll let that preheat, and then we'll put it in the oven, and it calls for 40 minutes in the oven. So we'll be right back. Okay everyone, the timer is off. Oh, that looks so good. Woo. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so I'm going to transfer that onto a wire rack. Oh, that looks good. Perfect. Smells so good too. That's going to cool. Do not cut it. I know it's so hard not to cut it first thing as soon as it comes out, but do not cut it. Let it kind of cool off on its own. Okay, because that'll help with the flavor of your bread. So there you go, guys. Easy, basic white bread recipe that you made. So, thanks again for stopping by Homemade and Homegrown. I really enjoy doing these videos with you. I'm learning as well as I go and share them with you. Matter of fact, right now I'm learning how to do cinnamon buns. I've never done them before, so I'm going to try that. But anyway, and if that's something that you want me to do on another video, then comment below and let me know. So if you enjoy content like this, be sure to give the video a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel. We do a lot of real basic recipes in the kitchen that anybody can do, so I try not to make things too complicated. I'm not a complicated person. But anyway, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss another video that I upload. So I hope you have a fabulous day, have an awesome week, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. God bless.